All right, let's talk about Git. What is the difference between Git and GitHub?
Git is like the language as a whole. I guess it's kind of like the version control language, and GitHub is just one of like the providers that you can. It like provides the website to use Git and actually like view it in like a GUI and like a graphic user interface type.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So Git is literally just a piece of software that is used to save different versions of your code. GitHub is literally just a website, an application online that helps you store your code. So it's not all on your local machine. It's how you manage your code, how other people can view your code, and teams work together and collaborate through GitHub by pushing their code up there. But Git is literally just software on your local machine that you pretty much just kind of what I just said. It allows you to have different save points in your code base. There's not just GitHub. There's I know GitHub is an online, like a really popular application, website repository for your code, but there's also like GitLab is another one. There's like Azure DevOps, which is a Microsoft product. They have their own version of GitHub. There's a bunch of them out there. So it's just GitHub is the most popular one, and it's also owned by Microsoft now. It wasn't always owned by Microsoft. Again, GitHub is what's when you store your code online. Git is on your local machine, and that's where you can make different save points or different versions of your code. So what is Git? Git is a version control system. It can track file changes, who's responsible for changes made. So I can actually see like, oh, Tom made these changes. You can back up and restore work. So if you make some changes and you're like, oh crap, that code doesn't work anymore, I can revert back to old working code. You can undo mistakes. It just allows for easier collaborations, and it gives you freedom to add new features to your projects without changing or updating without working on the master branch. And you can also see like what specific Git commit was for what specific feature. So you can have different Git commits for specific features. So here's a Git visualization. So we've been working on the master branch of the like 99 bottles and Def Grandma. You saw that little master, but this is how like this is like how Git would work. So you're working on like a master branch or like the production code base of some application you've developed, and you wanted to develop a very small feature in your application, such as maybe like a select dropdown. So if you're creating some, I don't know, CRM, customer relationship software, or some data visualization software or analytics tool, and you want to create a filter, something that you could like select and filter by date or something like that. And that's your only feature that you're working on. So you can filter by some analytics by date. So instead of working everything or creating that feature on the master branch, which is the production code base, you would create a branch that you would actually just build that feature on. So here's the actual Git command to create a new branch. Git checkout new branch. So you're working on this feature. People are pushing code or you're integrating code with your master branch, and all of a sudden there's a bug in the production code base and the master, and someone else needs to fix that bug. So they come and create a branch, like a totally separate branch for that bug fix. And now you're like, I'm up here, I'm done with my code base, I'm done developing that filter for the analytics application. I can merge it back into master. I can make sure everything is working, and then I can merge it into the master branch. But this master branch still has that bug that existed before. So So now whenever this person is done fixing their bug or the bug or whatever, they can merge it into the master branch. Just kind of everyone visually speaking how like the master branch versus your branch and like when to create branches.
I have a question
go
on
ahead.
that.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks, James. Is that what a pull request is after you create a fork and you want to merge it back onto the master copy? And then you request you make a pull request to make an addendum to the master copy. Is that
Yep.
what that is? Or
Exactly. So for the people who have created pull requests in GitHub, you are requesting from the master to pull your solution into the master solution, essentially the master branch. That's what you've been doing is when making pull requests. So, yeah.
Tom, so what if I'm working on a color filter and someone else is working on a size filter separately, and I merge mine and they merge theirs, and they were working on related parts of the master, and we might have actually had to change part of the master, and we changed it in different ways. Is there a deconfliction solution?
Yeah, so that's actually called a merge conflict, and you will encounter them. Essentially, you're trying to merge two pieces of code together, and there's some overlap between them, and Git doesn't know what to do. They're like, hey, there's some conflicts here. We need you to resolve them. So that's when it comes up in the real world. That's when like you and the other person who worked on that conflicting code base get together and be like, hey, we have a conflict here, like a code conflict, not like a actual conflict. What a part of the software can we refactor or move around to make that merge work together? So yeah, it's called a merge conflict. Yep. What other questions?
To piggyback on that, is there like a, I'm sure you're going to go over like a commit workflow, but like to say, to Augie's point, if you try to push code back to a code base that has been changed, do you need to do something before you push it back? Do you do another pull request, to get your repository matching the main branch again, or what do you do?
Yeah, and that's another thing, you can make a pull request. So if I'm on here, like if I'm working on my feature branch and the master branch has changed, while I'm still on the master branch, or when I'm still on my
Feature.
or on the feature branch, if somebody else is if somebody else is making changes on, if two people are working on the same branch and pushing code up there, you can literally say like git pull, and it'll pull all the updated code to your branch. So if two people are working on the same branch, whether it's the master or a separate branch, and somebody pushes their code to your branch, you can literally type git pull, and it'll pull all the new code to your branch.
So before you commit, like, is that a good thing to do that? Like if you're working with a big team or something, is that typical practice or?
Yeah, like git pulling a lot. I used to do that at my last job. Whenever we'd merge new code into the master branch and I'd be still working on a feature or something, I'd git pull into all the new code into my current branch. But it just depends on whether or not that new code is required for you to finish your feature.
Okay.
But, yeah. All right. So the Git workflow. So there's two commands that you need to do to actually commit or to create a save point in your code, like a new save point. So if you're working on your working directory, like we've been like creating like the solution to 99 bottles, like the modified files are saved locally, but haven't been saved to Git yet. So I've literally just like command save or file save. So it's saved on my local machine, but I haven't actually saved a version of it in Git. So I can do Git Add, period that adds all the new changes, and it Git adds literally just adds it to the staging, like a staging area. It's like, hey, you've selected these files to save to Git, but they're not necessarily they're not saved yet. And then once you are officially ready to save them, you can do Git Commit. So that's like a common phrase. Hey, did you commit that change yet? Hey, did you commit that? That's like a common language, or people say that a lot in software engineering. Like, hey, did you Git commit your feature? Especially when you're like working on projects. Hey, did you commit your what you were supposed to be working on? So you do Git commit followed by space -m, which stands for message, and then you put some message related to what you are working on. So if I was working on that feature, that filter feature, I'd say like finished filter, like date filter, and that would be my message. And then it actually stores a snapshot of code in your repository or in your Git repository. So it's like a save point. So just like before, or I don't know if you all work on have your like a resume, if you're working at like before, when you apply to new like places or a job, you're technically supposed to have a different resume for each company you apply for. So in the beginning, when I used to just have like a general resume, and I'd create a new resume for like company XYZ. So I'd be like Tom Preet, _ DRW or something like that. But and that resume used to be a little different. Then it took me a while to realize like, hey, I should probably just have like a master resume of all the things I've like done. So I can just pick and choose which resume or pick and choose which title or jobs I want to add to whatever company I was applying for at the time. So that's like kind of how like that, if you think of master, that's like a master resume of all the stuff you've done. And then you have like different branches, like, oh, I applied to DRW, I applied to CTC, I applied to Granger. Those are like branches of your resume. That kind of makes sense. So Git Add adds it to the staging area, and then Git Commit actually makes a save point to your code. So here are some Git commands, and we'll run through these, and then we'll break for lunch. So Git init initializes a new Git repository. We haven't done this yet because when you've been forking and cloning like 99 bottles and Def Grandma, it already has a Git repository attached to that, those challenges. We can do Git checkout -b and then the name of the branch, creates a branch of code separate from the branch you were originally on. Git status checks the status of Git. Git add period adds all changed files to the staging area. Git commit followed by that commit message commits the new code to the repository or to the Git repository. Git checkout new feature. It's not really not new feature, switches to an already existing branch. So if there's already a branch that's been created, like right here, say if I create a new branch to go to that new branch, I just do Git checkout, like the name of the branch. Git merge new feature merges the code on like a new feature branch to the branch you're currently on. So if I'm currently on master and I want to merge that filter into my master, I can do Git merge like new like filter branch or whatever. And then there's the Git pull, updates the branch with the most up-to-date code, the branch you're currently working on. So what kind of questions do you have about this? I'm going to run through all these here shortly.
If you run Git init inside of an already initialized repository, will that cause conflicts? Like let's say I run it, Git init inside 99 bottles.
I don't know. I think it might. If you ran Git init inside your 99, we can check that out because I'll do Git init twice. And
Is Git init making a repository on your local machine?
Yep. So Git is all on your local machine, and we'll kind of show you. So it has nothing to do with GitHub specifically. It's until you push git push and all that stuff to the master, or git push up to GitHub. That's a whole different thing, but we can walk through that stuff later. But yeah, so Git is just making save points on your local machine. All right. So let's jump into and walk through some Git challenge, or like Git practice. Clear. So I'm going to make a directory called Git practice. So I've got cd Git practice. Clear. So inside Git practice, I'm going to make a file called test.git.js. I'm going to list everything out. And this is not in, like right now, there is no Git repository attached to this Git practice folder. So in order for me to initialize a new Git repository, I use git init. So let's see. Actually, before I do that, do I have test git? So before I actually initialize everything, I'm going to say I'm working on a project, and I'm just going to say console log, hello Mike Platoon, and save it. But now I actually want to create a save point because I want to like do something else. So I can say ls git. So I want to initialize a new Git repository, git init. So it says initialized empty Git repository. Here it is. It says Git practice. So here's like the file path to Git practice. And notice how it says .git afterwards. Let me see something. All right. Can everyone mute their mic? They're getting feedback. Thank you. So I'm going to list everything out, but there's this .git. So right here in Git practice, it's just this test git. But if I wanted to show all the hidden files, I can do ls-a, which shows all the hidden files in the current directory. So right here, I've got this .git. This is where Git, the software and like the different versions are going to be like stored at. So I just initialize a new Git repository. Now I want to add the changes to Git. So I want to add this console log, hello Mike Platoon, to Git. So I can do Git add. I can do add all the changes because it's only one file to the Git repository. So I clicked enter, nothing showed up, which is usually a good sign. But now I want to check the status of Git right now. So I can do Git status. It says on master branch, no commits yet because I haven't committed anything. Changes to be committed. New file test git. So I'm ready to add this new file called test.git.js. So it's on this staging area. So I cleared that. Now I can actually git commit, which is I'm going to actually create a save point, and this is my very first commit. So I'm just going to call it initial commit and click enter. And now notice how in my file path, it says Git practice up here, but now here it says Git practice master. So I actually have I'm officially on master branch. It says one file changed, one insertion, create mode, all this stuff, whatever this hash right here is. Great, so now I can say Git status. It says on master branch, nothing to commit, working on clean tree. So it means I haven't made any changes or anything like that. So now let's actually make a change. So if I say hello code platoon or Mike Platoon, I can say console log, what's going on? And now I can say Git Status. It says on master branch, changes not staged for commit, but I've modified this test Git file by adding this additional console log. No changes added to commit. Use Git Add or Git Commit add. I think this is like overriding it to add it. So I want to make commit this as well. I want to make a save point there. So I can say Git Commit or Git Add everything. Now I can do Git Status again. And it says on master branch, changes to be made. So I've sent this to the staging area. I've modified test Git. Now I can actually make a save point. Git commit m said hello to my platoon. It says one file change, 2 insertions, because I've inserted like these 2 lines, I think. What questions do you have up until this point?
Once you've changed the file or whatever, is it good practice to git add dot and git commit every time, or can you do like multiple git adds and then once you're ready to commit, doing it once?
I usually git add and git commit all like both simultaneously right after each other, one another. Yeah, I've never like git added and then added more code and then git added again. I've never done that.
A quick question,
Yep.
Tom. Git status, is that just to verify what you're about to add?
Yeah, it just literally tests the status of Git, the current Git condition.
Perfect. Thank you.
So there we go. Working on clean tree.
I think I missed a step before Git Add. So I'm getting the fatal not a Git repository.
So
Oh,
you probably
Git-
didn't get in it.
All right, thank you.
So say I want to actually go back to, say I messed this up and I didn't want to add console log, what's going on, and I wanted to get back to just hello Mike Platoon. I can do Git Log, and I can see all the commits I've made on this Git repository. I can say, here's my initial commit, and it goes from the most recent commit at the very top to the oldest commit at the very bottom. And notice how it says commit and it's got all this entire large hash next to it. This is how you can actually switch to like go back to a save point. So this is like the name, this hash is this specific save point. So if I wanted to go back to my initial commit where it just says hello Mike Platoon and it doesn't say console log what's going on, I can do git checkout and I can copy this entire large hash, this numbers and characters and all that stuff, and I can check it out. And now watch up here the file. Watch it change. It should change. See, now it's back to the original one. It says switching to blah, 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 blah. You are detached from the head state. So I'm not at the very most recent commit. You can look around, make experimental changes and commit them. You can discard any commits. If you want to create a new branch to retain commits, it just kind of gives you some additional stuff. And it also says head detached at, means I'm no longer at the most recent commit. So
How would you overwrite, like say you just want to go back to this commit and you want this to be it? How would you confirm this change?
we're not going to get into that right now because that's we'll get into that later. Yep. So if I wanted this to be the master, was that your question? If you wanted this to be like the most,
Yeah, the most like you wanted to get rid of the other commit that you changed from, you checked out this one, you decide to go back in time and you want this to
Okay.
be like your head, you know?
okay, yeah, we'll cover that later on, but that's very rare. That's when you really mess something up.
Okay.
So if I wanted to get back to the most recent commit, I can literally just say git checkout master again. So it's going to take me back to the very top of the master branch. It says previous head position was this, initial kit, switch to master or switch to branch master, and it goes to the very most recent commit at the master branch. Clear? So now let's talk about branches, because you never really want to work directly on the master branch. You always want to work off of different branches. So I want to check out a new branch. So I can do just like up here. I'm working on master now. I want to go on to a new branch. So I can do git checkout -b and then the name of the branch. I can say write hello function. So that's the name of the branch I'm going to write. Or this is not going to work. So it's got to be all no spaces. So write hello function. It says switch to a new branch, write hello function. And up here, I used to be on the master branch. Now I'm on the write hello function branch. So now I can do like git status. It says, hey, on branch, write hello function. That means there's nothing to commit, working on clean tree. That means I haven't changed anything. So now I actually want to write a hello function, let hello. I'm going to do an arrow function. And I'm going to execute this hello function just to make sure it works. And I can see node test git. So I'm down here. I'm actually going to run this function or this file to make sure. All right, hello, what's going on? Cool. So I've cleared it. Now I can do git status. It says on branch write hello function. Changes not staged for commit. So I've modified this file, but I haven't put it into the staging area. So I want to add this file to the staging area. So I can do git add. I can add everything, which is fine because it's only this one file, or I can actually just git add the very specific files I want to add. So if you want to add multiple files, you can just do git add followed by the file names. So there's that. Git status. I'm going to clear this. So I do git status on branch hello, write hello function, changes to be committed. There we go. Now I actually have to git commit, like actually create a save point. Finished hello function. Said write hello function. This is my message. One file changed. 5 insertions, 2 deletions. That literally means like I've added 5 lines and I deleted a couple of lines or whatever. And there we go. So I can do git status. Again, on branch, write hello function, nothing to commit. So I'm going to clear it. I'm going to do git log. And there we go. I've got my current head. I'm on the write hello function, finished hello function master, blah, blah, blah. And there we go. Okay, so now I finished this feature branch, write hello function. Now I want to see, I just kind of meant to show you this as well. I can see which branches exist. I can do git branch. I think it is. So if I do git branch, I can see all the different branches that are currently on my machine. So I've got the master branch and I've got this write hello function branch. And the write hello function branch is green with a little star next to it because that's the branch I'm currently on. So now I want to switch back to master branch and watch what happens to my code because this code doesn't exist on the master branch. We do git checkout master. To switch to the master branch. But now I want to merge what's on the write hello function back into my master branch. So how do I do that? I can do Git Merge, and then the name of the master or name of the branch I want to merge into the master branch. So Git Merge, write hello function. And now watch the master branch change up here, like the code change. Great, it says updating, whatever this hash is. Fast forward, I changed the test Git, added 7 different things. I did 5 insertions, 2 deletions, 1 file changed. Kind of gives me an example of, or some messaging of what actually changed.
Does that work for, like if you wanted to merge multiple branches outside of the master, or can you only merge onto the master?
No, you can merge it onto other branches as well. So if I did, yeah, you can merge like a like Git branch. So if I had another branch called like write goodbye function, I can merge the write goodbye function into the hello function.
Okay.
So with that, let's see what else we got. So I'm going to so now those are different versions of, or that's how Git works. But now I'm gonna actually push Def Grandma and 99 bottles up to GitHub. There we go, ls cd 99 bottles. So 99 bottles already has a Git repository attached to it. So I can ls, I can do Git Log. Remember how I did Git Log? And you're gonna see a bunch of logs because this is this 99 bottles application or challenge has been around a long time, and we've made a lot of different changes to it over the past couple of years. So you can see, so this is Tom's solution. So that's, I think, the one I'm currently on, or that's what I pushed up to GitHub yesterday. And there's all this other stuff. Like, look at how, these are all the different save points that we've done. All right. How do I get out of this?
Q?
Is it Q? Thank you. Clear. So I can do Git Add. Let's just add, which one do we want to add? Just the JavaScript one. So if I just do Git Add everything, Git Status. Cool, I've modified 99 bottles. Now this is all just on my local machine. I want to create another save point, Git Commit, instructor, solution. Cool. Now I can do Git ls, Git Status. Nothing to get. So it says use Git push to publish your local commits on GitHub. So I can do Git push. And where do I want to push this? I want to push it to master. Git push origin master. So this is all to push it up to GitHub. So I just pushed it to GitHub. If I go over to 99 bottles and go to my personal GitHub, Tom Preet, there's my instructor solution that I just pushed. Now I want to merge this into, or I want to make a pull request and request to merge it into the master of Mike Platoon. So again, I can create a pull request. I'm on my own. Now it's switched to Mike Platoon and saying, hey, the base repository is Mike Platoon 99 bottles, and I'm requesting to pull Tom Preet's 99 bottle solution into the Mike Platoon's 99 bottle solution. So this is Tom's solution. View, and like you can see all the different changes made. View pull request. And now I created a new pull request because I made a pull request yesterday and I just updated that pull request. Now I'm not going to merge it because it's going to rewrite everything over master. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Now let's actually do that again with def grandma. Def grandma ls. So as we mentioned before, we don't want to push node modules up there. There's two things we can do. We can just manually add def grandma to the Git repository, or we can create a git ignore file and include the node modules. Does anybody have a preference of what we want to do?
I guess the ignore file, because I think the other one, at least to me, seems straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going to create a git ignore file, and it's going to, where is it? And this git ignore file, I can put stuff in there that I want the Git repository to ignore. So it's not pushing stuff up there. So right here, I've got this git ignore file. And what I want it to ignore is the node modules. So I can literally say node modules, and that's it. And it's okay if I push the package.lock on there. It's okay. So now I can do Git status. It says your branch is up to date with the origin master. Changes not staged for commit. The one file I modified, which is the def grandma.js, which is where my solution is, has been modified. Untracked files is git ignore and the package.json or package.lock file, which is fine. But notice how node modules isn't on there. So I can clear that. I can git add everything. So it's going to add the git ignore file and the package lock file. So I can do git status. And these are the new files I created, the git ignore and that package lock file, and the modified file is the def grandma. Notice how node modules is not in there. Also, notice how node modules is grayed out, and that's because I added it. VS Code is smart, and it knows that I added node modules to the git ignore, so it's graying out graying out the node modules because it knows, hey, this one's not going to be added to the Git repository. So I can do git status. I already did that, clear. Git commit, so I want to actually make a stage point or a save point. Instructor or solution. Now I can push this up to my Tom Preet. So here's my def grandma on my personal GitHub. I'm going to so I've already saved it locally on my machine, or saved a save point in Git in the Git repository on my local machine. Now I want to push my code up to GitHub by doing git push origin master. There we go. Now if I come in here and I refresh this, it says instructor solution. So I added the git ignore. Here's my def grandma. Here's that package lock.json. Now I want to make a pull request because I want to submit it to the Platoon def grandma. Create a pull request. It's going to go into my Platoons. It's going to say, here's the base repository. This is what I want to pull into the Platoons repository. Is my Tom Preet's. So I can create a pull request, instructor solution. This is the instructor solution, and then create a pull request. It's going to check to see if there's any merge conflicts right there, checking for ability to merge automatically. Cool. Continuous integration has not been set up. We don't want that. And there you go. So now we've got instructor solution, all these different solutions.